We are really at the opposite end of the spectrum. You just got the big picture of the global view in New York State, and we're really on a very small course, not necessarily in size. We have 68 acres on 9 holes, but we are a public course, and we bought it 5 years ago at a very low point in its history, very few rounds, under 10,000 rounds, and serious deferred maintenance. And we are going to tell you a little bit about how we try to implement environmental and sustainable economic, social, environmental practices. Francis was a farmer for 25 years in the eastern shore of Maryland after studying agriculture at the University of Delaware. And he came up to the Hudson Valley to help his mother with Stone Dog, and eventually, after working as a superintendent there and at a nearby course for 15 years, became my co-owner and chief operating officer and superintendent and mechanic and you name it, many hats. I studied environmental policy and urban planning and came from a big city, and so where's the So just to give you a sense, so I also work in environmental policy and taught sustainable development. So when we bought the course, we were very eager to implement the proper practices, especially because the course is in the Hudson Valley area. You can see the red point. We're in a very rural area, so we have the opposite problem. It's not densely populated. People do have to drive 20 minutes to get to us. We have a town of only 5,000 people surrounding us. People will drive to save $2 to the nearby course. So we have severe competition. We are in a floodplain. And let me see if I can just go to the next slide. We do have 4.6 stars on Google, even with a couple of irate people. This is our website. I wear the other many hats. I do administration, I built our website, I built our booking system because of the inability of a small course to afford a $500 a month or $300 a month price tag for a booking system, so we use Calendly. So we have come up with many ways to work around what it means to be a startup and to be a small course trying to become economically feasible and thriving. So I'll just show you 18 seconds of some drone footage, which we got in exchange for the drone pilot being allowed to put it up on his website. And so what you will see is that our Marines, one of the challenges we're facing, have just recently been aerated multiple times, detached, so it doesn't show us off to its best right now. But this is where we are. We're surrounded by We're surrounded by beautiful buffers of trees. We have highly ecologically sensitive zones in our area. So that's an example of a thatched green, detached green, farmer's green. So I think you get the idea. We are dealing with land that really needs to be protected. Another example are those Norway spruce, which are being attacked by Eurasian bark beetles. We've lost all our ash trees. I'm not sure who else has experienced that. So we just want to walk you through a presentation. We're going to make it very short that we made to our Environmental Commission, on which I serve. And then Francis is also going to tell you a little bit about the challenge we faced this summer with the weather. How many of you faced challenges with the weather this summer? Okay. All right. We'll get to that. Oh. So, first of all, I was telling you about the beautiful buffers that we have. Mohonk, if anybody's familiar with Mohonk, is right in we're in the shadow of that. We have an enormous amount of water on the course. We're sitting in a floodplain, and the plateau is where you see the red is our clubhouse up here. We have a few parcels that could be developed, and that's another economic challenge we would like to face. We are, by the way, one of the few courses that does use mostly reclaimed water. The river that surrounds us. So we purchased it during the pandemic. We have rebuilt and restored most of the greens. We have slowed erosion by planting over 1,000 trees. We've rebuilt all major equipment. We have put in about 3,000 feet of irrigation and drainage infrastructure with our own hands. You can see a picture of that. We updated the clubhouse and cafe and grow shop with our own hands. Nick has seen it and loves it. We landscaped the parking lot, which was like a paved wasteland when we got it. And as I said, we planted new trees and shrubs, working with the DEC's Trees for Trips program. You know about that. Next. So reading our course, you can see, yeah, that's it. You can see that Francis, if you go back to the previous slide, you can see Francis just recently has been putting in new drainage infrastructure under one of our greens, and we'll get back to that. Keep going. So, as Tom was talking about, we actually do try to implement all of these best management practices, and I'll have Francis tell you a little bit about that.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Pretty much folks who have to do the same work that we do every day, the same considerations, and our complex problems. We're all participants in the course. For us, the best management practices, it's something I started with a long time ago. I was on Eastern Shore, Maryland, Chesapeake Bay program, directly related to agriculture. Many of those things brought over to golf. For us, it starts with the greens, nutrient management, and we look to the advice that's provided by the Lions, Cornell, all of the different ground universities. I spent a lot of time reading and trying to keep up to date with what's happening, and we try to make our best nutrient management choices in timing, in application. Going back to the management of the course, the Trees for Trips program that she mentioned here on this slide, that was we're on the Rondout Creek. This golf course was built on an old agricultural site that had been farmed for many, many years. Back the builder was from the Davenport family, and they had grown corn on this land, and it was still close to the edges. And in 2005, I had my first experiences witnessing what's more common today, on a pure event, and water over almost the entire course. And I got to study where that went off, and the Trees for Trips is there to help stabilize those banks. So,
Just going to say this is an example of something we're trying to do, because I mentioned the Norway spruce are under attack. So we're working with, we planted about 300 saplings from Maryland, loblolly and pitch pine, just to see how they would fare on our course, because we may end up losing what is a signature tree that we showed you in that previous slide along all of our fairways.
yeah, this is one of the practices, personal experiment, and actually getting interest from people who are working in DEP, DEC. We've thought about that, but they haven't played about it yet. That's a common species down in the south coast. There's a lot of it. And global warming, it's real. We dealt with it this summer. We'll see the results of it, the impact on some of the things we do, especially greens. And right now, it's successful. Today, it's all over what they should be doing. They're thriving.
I know also we only have a few more minutes. We also face the prospect of requiring revenue from another resource. We need to diversify our revenue streams. As a very small business, it's difficult to run several amenities at once. We don't have space for a driving range. We do have a clubhouse that we renovated, as I said, with our own hands, using the practices for existing buildings. Next, we hope to do solar insulation, HVAC upgrades, and we're doing electric carts next year. we expect to use automated mowers. We came away, by the way, from the conference in Orlando last year with so much enthusiasm. We contacted one of the dealers right away, and then we hit this spring situation. Just a couple of other examples. Green infrastructure is something we believe in, allowing water to drain right on site, so we removed all asphalt from the course. We planted, as I said, many trees, including those designed to supplant the existing ones. We've worked with locals, pipe fitters to help us build our 3,000 feet of infrastructure. As you can see, Francis does a lot of the work himself, most of it. We're also wilding several acres, you can't really see it, but we're wilding several acres of our grass so that it's no longer being mowed. Just like the Pinehurst and other great forces that are doing that. And now Francis is going to tell you about what happened in June, and I know we have to wrap up.
Yeah, so this is a part that's painful for everyone to deal with. Anybody who's been through it, I'm sure we did a study, or I did a personal study, went through golf courses that get to 100 years, everyone went through what we dealt with this year. This is early June. That's our lovely little Drew Resort here at Point of Bebop on our 9th green, and things look great. 8 inches of rain, 2 inches of rain the day before it turned to 100 for 2 or 3 days, followed by a number of very high temperature degree days. And despite all of our good practices, 55 years caught up with us, and we were faced with a lot of some complex issues. It caused us to have to scramble quickly, do a lot of research, dig deep into what happened. We did probes into greens, we dug down into a number of greens, we went down 24 inches, we were able to see the entire history of what took place. It was pretty obvious. All suspicions were kind of confirmed. We made some quick decisions. We purchased some equipment. Our single biggest problem was the 55-year course, built in the late 60s, early 70s, push-up greens, no drainage infrastructure, and as soon as we got to 5 inches in greens, the compaction was off the charts. So we bought a deep green linear aerator, get down 10 inches, multiple passes. That's a part of our regular practice. Thatch is another issue. We've dug into that. Our 4th green, this is a picture of our 4th green, taken out several weeks ago. We had to completely strip the entire surface. We took it all away, hauled it off. We took excavator in, we completely broke up the surface, turned it up. I did have a landscaper come and help me put a little part of it. And we used it as an opportunity. And the thing that I want to point out about something that's painful like this, when we talk about being part of the community, in this case, yes, we were embarrassed, we were concerned, so were all of our dollars. We have a small little group of haters out there, people just can't wait to say something negative. The community stepped up and was supportive. They continued to play. We put up a nice temporary green, and the dignity was we used it as an opportunity to say, okay, well, we're going to redesign everything at this opportunity right now, which is not really something we wanted to do this year, but we, of course, we had to, which I will cut off now, but we invite later on. I know there's going to be some question and discussion, and I'm very interested in how everybody feels about the global warming issue and increase. I mean, we've had this UN report that we just obviously. It's real stuff for us, okay? So, anyway, thank you.
So looking forward, we're always very positive. What Francis says is really true. Social sustainability is a big part of the triple bottom line, environmental, economic, and social sustainability. We couldn't do it without all the barters, the gifts, the trades, the loans, and just the goodwill. I mean, you see 4.6 stars. Not one person who came to visit us and saw what we were going through posted anything negative about us. They all understood This was a situation that was brought about by extreme circumstances. We're also looking at new beginnings in the sense that we are in the Hudson Valley with an incredible burst of escapees from New York, from COVID, people coming to do weddings and coming to all our festivals, especially in the fall. And we held our first wedding in our clubhouse 2 weeks ago, and we're very proud to say it went off beautifully. And we're going to be using that to promote that new area of revenue, among other things. We explored many things, but we felt that this had the highest return. So thank you very much.